Hare Krishna. Thank you for joining. Let's start with Radha Madhav. Jayo Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Jayo Giravardhari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Jayo Giravardhari Yashodanandana Vraj Jana Ranjana Shodanandana Vraj Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari Jai Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Hari Bol. Okay. Om Gyan Timiradhasya Gyananjana Shalakya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutle Samrupa Akadamayam Tadati Swapatantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuttapadakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavascha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunatamitam Tam Sajim Sadvetam Savadutam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kant Radha Kant Namastute Tapta Kanchan Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sutadevi Pranmami Hari Priye Panchakalpatavehascha Kripa Sindhuvevacha Patitana Pavanebhyo Vaishnavyo Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Śrīmate Bhaktivedanta Swami Ti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschati Dishatarine Jayo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasi Go Bhaktivedanta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Mukham Kroti Vachalam Pangum Langate Gavim Yat Kirpatam Vandashi Gurun Taranam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanyeshwaram Narayam Namaskritya Naram Chevana Uttamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jemuduriyat Nasta Presha Abdrishu Nityam Bhagavata-Sevayā Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nestiki Hare Krishna. Okay, so we're on the final few verses of chapter 7, and we were talking about Draupadi Maharani and how her sons were killed by Ashwatthama. And we were saying that women in general don't have the ability to discriminate between people, and they treat everybody equal, even the enemy, like that. But you have to be careful. But I mean, in this case, we're seeing that Draupadi, she's beyond discriminating. She's seeing things from a much bigger perspective. She's not just enemy and punishment situation. She's looking at the wider circle of the implications of her, what she decides to do, because they will do. Arjun will do what Draupadi says, and Krishna may go along with it as well. So it's down to Draupadi to decide what action she wants taken. And as a mother, she is the most grief-stricken at the moment, the death of her sons, who were brutally murdered in their sleep. And her thinking is beyond, most people would not think that far in a situation like this. They might say, oh, forgive the killer, this and that, but they would not think of the implications that this, punishing to death this person would have. So it's amazing. Okay, let's continue from 46 onwards. Okay, 46, yeah. Tad dharmagya mahabhag bahadvir gauravam kulam vijinam naharati praptum pujyam vandyam abhishanshaha. So tat, therefore, dharmagya, one who is aware of the principles of religion, mahabhaga, the most fortunate, bhavad bihi, by your good self, gauravam, glorified, kulam, the family, prijinam, that which is painful, not arati, does deserve, praptum, for obtaining, pujyam, the worshipful, vandyam, respectable, abhikshanashaha, constantly. O most fortunate one who know the principles of religion, it is not good for you to cause grief to glorious family members who are always respectable and worshipable. A slight insult for respectable family is sufficient to invoke grief. Therefore, a cultured man should always be careful in dealing with the worshipful family members. So 47, 46 rather. So she's saying that Dronacharya's family members are worshipable, and we have to be mindful of that. She considered them, at a very high level, and as she considered them to be worshipable members or family of Dronacharya. So last time we said the arguments were the son of Brahman, he was son of a teacher, he was son of Mother Kripi, and now Draupadi is saying that she considered them to be worshipable. So how can she even think to destroy them? So that's her fourth argument. So ma rodidasya janani gotami pati devata yataham mriti vatsarata rodimi ashru mukhi mahu. Ma, do not rodit, make cry, asya, his janani, mother, Gotami, the wife of Drona, pati devata, chaste, yatha, as has, aham, myself, mrita vatsa, one whose child is dead, artha, distressed, rodami, crying, ashru, mukhi, tears in the eyes, mohu, constantly. My Lord, do not make the wife of Dronacharya cry like me. I am aggrieved for the death of my sons. She need not cry constantly like me. So sympathetic good lady as she was, Srimati Draupadi did not want to put the wife of Dronacharya in the same position of childlessness, because she only had one son, and if he dies then she has no children, both from the point of motherly feelings and from the respectable position held by the wife of Dronacharya. So that's her fifth argument, that the qualities of Draupadi were, she was born of fire, she had fiery nature, yet she felt for creepy, or here is mentioned as Gotami. She was feeling the pain of her dead children, and she knew that Sri Kripi would feel the same, and she didn't want her to feel the pain that she was feeling because it could be avoided. Why give somebody pain if you can avoid it? If it cannot be avoided, that's different. But if it can be avoided, don't purposefully give pain to anyone. She's a mother. She doesn't want to give another mother because she knows it's very, very painful, and she doesn't want her to go through that because they are worshipful. So that's the fifth argument. Yahi kopitam brahma kulam rajanaye ajita mabhi tatkulam pradati ashu sanu bandham shucha apitam. Yahi, by those, kopitam, enraged, brahma kulam, the order of the Brahmins, Rajnahi, by the administrative order, Ajita, unrestricted, Atambihi, by oneself, that kulam, family, Pradati, is burnt up, Ashu, within no time, Sa Anubandham, together with family members, Sucha Apitam, being put into grief. If the kingly administrative order, being unrestricted in sense control, offends the Brahman order and enrages them, then the fire of that rage burns up the whole body of the royal family and brings grief upon them all. So the Brahman order society of the spiritually advanced caste or community and the members of such highly elevated families were always held in great esteem by other subordinate castes, namely the administrative, kingly order, the mercantile, and the laborers. So this final sixth argument, she's saying that when you offend pure devotees, you suffer the consequences. So it's like, although she's born of fire, she's afraid to play with fire. She's saying this is like playing with fire, you will get burnt. There is a deadlock, both sides. There are devotees and they are both correct. They appreciated each other's views. Instead of building separate camps which may break the relationship, we have to understand the nature and need of both sides in a humble way. So I guess both sides mean Arjun and Draupadi, it's the argument, and Krishna, he's just watching to see what they decide to do. But then you have the other Pandavas as well, obviously joining in. You can imagine Bhim, he would just want him gone, dead, and just finish him off. And why even bother thinking about it? There's nothing to think about, just kill him. And so yeah, the other part, they all for killing, only Draupadi is for not killing. Right, see what happens. Sutavacha dharmyam nyayam sakarunam nirvyalikam samam vahat raja dharma satorajneha prityanadat vacho divijyaha. Sutavacha. Sutta Goswami said, dharmayam, in accordance with the principles of religion, nyayam, justice, sakarunam, full of mercy, nirvalikam, without duplicity in dharma, samam, equity, mahat, glorious, raja, the king, dharma sutta, son, rajinayaha, by the queen, pratyanandat, supported, vachaha, statements, divijha, O Brahmans. Sutta Goswami said, O Brahmans, King Yudhishthira fully supported the statements of the queen, which were in accordance with the principle of religion and were justified, glorious, full of mercy and equity, and without duplicity. So everything she has said, the six arguments were like that. They were justified, glorious, full of mercy, equity, without duplicity. So Maharaj Yudhishthira, who was the son of Dharmraj, he could see that because that's what he does. O Yamraj, fully supported the words of Queen Draupadi. in asking Arjun to release Ashwatthama. One should not tolerate the humiliation of a member of great family. Arjun and his family were indebted to the family of Dronacharya because of Arjun's learning the military science from him. If ingratitude was shown to such a benevolent family, it would not be at all justified from the moral standpoint. The wife of Dronacharya, who was the half body of the great soul, must be treated with compassion, and she should not be put into grief because of her son's death. That is compassion. Such statements by Draupadi are without duplicity because action should be taken with full knowledge. The feeling of equality was there because Draupadi spoke out of her personal experience. A barren woman cannot understand the grief of her mother. Draupadi was herself a mother, and therefore calculation of the depth of Kripi's grief was quite to the point because she's been through that. And it was glorious because she wanted to show proper respect to a great family. Amazing. So, see if I have anything to add. 49. So, it's mentioned that Yudhishthira Maharaj is now siding with Draupadi because he can see, like as you say, where she's coming from. He can see her, on what basis. She's not just saying, oh, because she's soft-hearted or something, or she doesn't like killing, and she's not saying, oh, don't kill him. She's given her some basis for her decision, for her statement, and Yudhishthira Maharaj, being Yamraj and Dharamraj, he can see what she's saying, he can appreciate it. And she has given us 6 reasons, and he totally understands those reasons. Nakula Sadevascha Yudano Dhananjaya Bhagavan Devaki Putro Ye Chanye Yascha Yoshitaha. Nakul Sahadev Cha and Yudanha Satyaki Dhananjaya Arjun Bhagavan, the personal Godhead, Devaki Putra, the son of Devaki, the Lord Shri Krishna, Ye, those, Cha and Anya, others, Yaha, those, Cha and Yoshita, ladies. Nakul and Sadev, the younger brothers of the king, and also Satyaki, Arjun, the personality of Godhead, Lord Shri Krishna, son of Devaki, and the ladies and others all unanimously agreed with the king. Okay. So Arjun was confused with Krishna. Krishna, he had taken both sides. So Krishna just, so he was one is saying to Arjun, kill him, and now he's sided with Yudhishthira Maharaj. He's saying, yes, I think you're quite right. Yes, it's a good call. But before he was saying kill him, now he's saying don't kill him. This makes Arjun's task more difficult. He was the one who promised Draupadi that he would kill Ashwatthama. So what about his vow? So they like to keep the vows as well. So what happens now? Although he couldn't kill him when he caught him, but I think he's probably, if Draupadi says kill him, they would kill him. Draupadi saying no, and now Krishna saying, yeah, I shouldn't kill him. So it's like left him a little bit bewildered. Okay, let's see what happens. Tatra hamarishito bhimas tasya shreyan vadha smritha na bharatur natamanascharthe yohan suputan shishun vritha. So Tatra thereupon Aha said, Amarshitha, in an angry mood, Bhima, I think Bhima is losing his patience here. Tasya, his Shreyan, ultimate good, Vadha, killing, Smritha, recorded, not Bratahu, of the master, no Atmana, of his own self, Cha and Arthe, for the sake of Yavan who, Ahan killed Suptan, sleeping, Shishun, children, Vritha, without purpose. So Bhima Bhim, however, angrily disagreed with them and recommended killing this culprit. Bhima would not give second thought to this, forget dharam and this and that, just eye for an eye. Who had murdered sleeping children for no purpose and for neither his nor his master's interest. So his master obviously being Duryodhana. So Bhima is also a devotee of Krishna, but yet he wanted Ashwatthama should be killed. Now, what does Arjun do? He has to find a solution to all this. There's like two sides now. Well, at least where he's thinking should be killed, and Bhima definitely thinks he should be killed. So, who to disappoint? Nishamya Bhima Gaditam Draupadiyascha Chaturbhuja Alokya Vadanam Sakyur Idam Aha Hasanan Iva. So Nishamya, just after hearing Bhima Gaditam spoken by Draupadiyaha of Draupadi Cha and Chaturbhuja, the four-handed personality Godhead, Alokya, having seen Vadanam, the face, Sakahu of his friend, Idam, this, said Hassan, smiling even as if. So Chaturbhuj, the four-armed one of the personality Godhead, after hearing the words of Bhim, Draupadi and others, saw the face of his dear friend Arjun, and he began to speak as if smiling. So let's see if Krishna intervenes here. Lord Shri Krishna had two arms, and why he is designated as four-armed is explained by Sridhar Swami. Both Bhima and Draupadi held opposite views about killing Ashwatthama. Bhima wanted him to be immediately killed, whereas Draupadi wanted to save him. We can imagine Bhima ready to kill while Draupadi is obstructing him, and in order to prevent both of them, the Lord discovered another two arms. Okay, so we have to remember that Bhima, he thinks that, he kills before he will think anyway. But we also got to remember that it was 5 children, and each son belonged to each of the Pandavas, right? So there's Bhima's son in there as well. Like obviously he considered the other children his sons, but he personally, his own son was killed as well. Originally, the primeval Lord Shri Krishna displays only 2 arms, but in his Narayan feature, he exhibits 4. In his Narayan feature, he resides with his devotees in the Vaikuntha planets, while in his original Shri Krishna feature, he resides in the Krishna Lok planet far, far above, and the Vaikuntha planets in the spiritual sky. Therefore, if Shri Krishna is called Chaturbhuj, there is no contradiction. If he need be, he can display hundreds of arms or thousands of arms. As he exhibited in his Vishwaroop shown to Arjun. Therefore, one who can display hundreds and thousands of arms can also manifest for whenever needed. So when Arjun was perplexed about what to do with Ashwatthama, Lord Shri Krishna, as the very dear friend of Arjun, voluntarily took up the matter just to make solution, and he was smiling also. So Shri Krishna could see the confusion, he could understand it, and he thought, well, I'll have to intervene here, otherwise, it's going to be a problem. So Krishna took the Chaturbhuja form in his Narayan form, 2 arms to protect Bhim, and 2 arms to protect Draupadi. So that's that's how it's explained, that he took 4 arms to protect both sides to each. And yeah, you won't always see Krishna's hand, but you will see it later. So this example in Bhagavad-Gita 6.24, Srila Prabhupada tells us that the Lord helps those who help themselves. Helping yourself means putting yourself under the Lord's protection. Give yourself to Krishna. Krishna is there always watching over as Super Soul. He is the Anumanta at the sanctioner and Uptrishta, the witness. We need Krishna's help, but Krishna is helping every second, even to take a breath. So Krishna does He's always intervening. He's always helping. Sometimes we just don't see it. And how do you see it? You see it by Jnana Chakshu. As you grow in your spirituality, then you start seeing the invisible hand of Krishna. Shri Bhagwan Vacha Brahma Bandhu Na Hantavya Atati Vadaranaha Maivo Bhyam Amanatam Prapahi Anusha Sanam Kuru Pratishrutam Satyam Yattat Santavya Yata Priyam Priyam Cha Bhima Senasya Panchalya Mahyam Evacha. Shri Bhagwan, the person of Godhead, Vacha said, Brahmabandhu, the relative of Brahman, are not Hantavya, to be killed, Atati, the aggressor, Vad Araha is due to be killed, Mayam, by me, Eva certainly, Obhyam, both Amanatam, described according to rulings of the authority, Paripahi, carry out, Anu, Shasanam, rulings, Guru, abide by, Pratyushritam, as promised by Satyam, truth, Yattat, which Sant Vayata, while pacifying, Priyam, thereby, Priyam, satisfaction, Cha, also, Bhim Senasya, of Shri Bhim Sen, Panchaleha, of Draupadi, Mahem, unto me also, Eva, certainly, Cha, and. So, in translation, the personality of God, as Shri Krishna said, "Oh, friend of a Brahman is not to be killed. But if he is an aggressor, he must be killed." All these rulings are in the scriptures and he should act accordingly. So Krishna, he is the knower of the Vedas and he compiled the Vedas as Vyasadeva. So he knows the scriptures and they have written, with all the information, all the laws, all the rules. You have to fulfill your promise to your wife and you must also act to the satisfaction of Bhimsen and me. So put Arjuna in a bit more confusion. Now Arjuna has to apply his intelligence. It's like a riddle. So how can I please my wife and please Bhimsen at the same time? What do I do? And keep your vow as well. Arjuna was perplexed because Ashwatthama was to be killed as well as spared according to different scriptures cited by different persons. So as a Brahmandhu or a worthless son of a Brahman, Ashwatthama was not to be killed, but he was at the same time an aggressor also. And according to the rulings of Manu or the Manu Samhita, an aggressor, even though he be a Brahman, and what to speak of an unworthy son of a Brahman, is to be killed. Dronacharya was certainly a Brahman in the true sense of the term, but because he stood in the battlefield, he was killed. But although Ashwatthama was an aggressor, he stood without any fighting weapons at the moment. So it's not like they're in a battlefield. The rulings is that an aggressor, when he is without weapon or chariot, cannot be killed. Even an aggressor cannot be killed if they have no weapon or chariot. All these were certainly perplexities. Besides that, Arjuna had to keep the promise he had made for Draupadi just to pacify her. And he also had to satisfy both Bhima and Krishna, who advised killing him. This dilemma was present for Arjuna and the solution was awarded by Krishna. So they needed a win-win situation here. And how they're going to find that? Sutta Vacha Arjuna says Aganya Hare Hardam Athisina Manim Chahar Murdanamyam Dhanyayam Davijasya Saha Murdajam. So Sutta Goswami Vacha said Arjun Sahasa, just at the time, Aganya, knowing it, Hare, of the Lord, Hardam, motive, thus Asina, by the sword, Manim, the jewel, Jahar, separated, Murdhanyam, on the head, Divijasya, of the twice born, Saha, with, and Murdajam, hairs. Sutta Goswami said, just then Arjuna could understand the motive of the Lord by his equivocal orders. And thus with his sword he severed both hair and jewel from the head of Ashwatthama. So you could understand that he has to kill him, yet keep him alive, and then he remembered that was the process. I think they've done it before. Contradictory orders of different persons are impossible to carry out. Therefore, a compromise was selected by Arjun by his sharp intelligence, and he separated the jewel from the head of Ashwatthama. This was as good as cutting off his head, and yet his life was saved for all practical purposes. Here, Ashwatthama is indicated as twice born. Certainly he was twice born, but he fell down from his position, and therefore he was properly punished. So he had a jewel on his forehead, and Arjun took that out. I think he had that from birth, if I'm correct. So Ashwatthama had to be punished. His crimes were too big to be overlooked. Our opinion is what Krishna decides. And Krishna decided both sides, so that was the decision. In every situation, we should use the mode of goodness to make a decision. Should not be definitely not ignorance, and be careful of passion mode as well, because we can get carried away. Passion mode, a bit like Bhimsen. Sometimes he gets very passionate. Keep all parties happy. This pastime is useful in making a win-win result. So he found the middle ground solution to keep both sides happy. So we muchyarashan badham balhatyahat prabham tejasa maninahinam shibiran nir yapayat. Vimuchya, after releasing him, Rashana Badam from the bondage of ropes, Balhatya infanticide, Hat Prabham loss of bodily luster, Tejasa of the strength of, Manina by the jewel, Hinam being deprived of, Shibirat from the camp, Nirya Payat drove him out. Okay. So now Ashwatthama had already lost his body luster due to infanticide, because it was a heinous crime. He lost his body luster, and now, moreover, having lost the jewel from his head, he lost even more strength. Thus he was unbound and driven out of the camp. Thus, being insulted, the humiliated Ashwatthama was simultaneously killed and not killed by the intelligence of Lord Krishna and Arjun. So Arjun removed the jewel and his hair. They used the weapon of humiliation to kill Ashwatthama. So that was the weapon of humiliation. You want to kill him? Humiliate him. That's killing. Also took away his divine powers. If you kill the body, the person is dead. It's game over. If you badly humiliate them, then they have to live with that humiliation, and they wish they were dead, because the mental pain is too much to bear. So they die every day. If you humiliate somebody so badly, then they would die every day. Instead of just killing them once, you're killing them again and again. They are dying every day with this pain. Also, removing the jewel left a wound on his head, which was very painful and impossible to heal. So so it was mental pain and physical pain for him as well. This is worse than death. He should have just killed himself, to be honest, to live like that. So, Vapanam Dirvanidanam Sthana Niryapanam Tatha Esha Brahma Bandhunam Vado Nanyosti Deikaha. Vapanam, cleaving the hairs from the head, Dravina, wealth, Adanam, forfeiting, Sthana, from the residence, Nirapanam, driving away, Tatha, also Esha, all these. He is certainly Brahma Bandhunam, of the relatives of Brahman, but the killing, not Anya, any other method, Asti, there is, Deihikaha, in the matter of the body. Cutting the hair from his head, depriving him of his wealth, and driving him from his residence are the prescribed punishments for the relative of a Brahman. There is no injunction for killing the body. So, Yeah, so I'm not going to go to, just Srila Prabhupada reminds us of the Rukmini affair. So saying that it has been done before. Rukmini, the brother Rukmini was a friend of Kansa, and he owed allegiance to Jarasandha as well. Then basically when the Krishna kidnapped Rukmini, her brother gave chase, and then Krishna, I think, did the same to Rukmini. Yeah. So that's how he insulted him or killed him like that by giving some ridiculous hairstyle. So that was done by Krishna. And anyway, I think time is going, so we'll just move on and finish this. Putra Shokha Turaha Sarve Pandavasa Krishnaya Swanam Amritanam Yat Kriptyam Chakru Nirana Dikam. So Putra son, Shoka, bereavement, Aturaha, overwhelmed with, Sarve, all of them, Pandavaha, the sons of Pandu, Saha, along with Krishnaya, with Draupadi, Swanam of the kinsman, Amritanam of the dead, yet what Krityam ought to be done, Chakruhu did perform, Nirharan, Adikam, undertakeable. Thereafter, the sons of Pandu and Draupadi, overwhelmed with grief, perform the rituals for the dead bodies of their relatives. So saying the Bhaktivedanta purports of the first canto, 7th chapter of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam entitled The Son of Throne Punished. So yeah, I'll just add that Dronacharya, Ashwatthama is said to be an expansion of one of the Rudras, just like Hanuman. So a verse in the Veda states, daily remembering these 8 immortals: Ashwatthama, Bali Maharaj, Vedvyas, Hanuman, Vibhishan, Kripacharya, Parshuram, and Rishi Markandeya. One can be free from all ailments and live for more than 100 years. So Ashwatthama was born with a gem in his forehead, which gave him the power of over all living beings lower than mankind. This gem protected him from attacks of ghosts, demons, poisonous insects, snakes, and animals. Now he's lost in the jungles and he no longer has that protection. But he still lives. Ashwatthama still lives because he has to help Kalki in the when there's end of Kali Yuga. So it's mentioned that Navashri met a man with a wound on his head, and he's like 3.9 meters tall. He learned that Bhima was and he learned from him that Bhima was much taller and stronger than him. So people have met Ashwatthama, and it's mentioned that in 1192, Prithviraj Chauhan, we know from history, Prithviraj Chauhan lost a battle and after betrayal left for the jungle. He met Ashwatthama. He was knowledgeable in Ayurveda and tried to cure his wound. He saw Ashwatthama continuously struggling with that wound on his forehead, and Prithviraj Chauhan tried to, which shows actually Ashwatthama is no longer a threat to anyone. He's not attacking people, actually people trying to help him. And he tried to cure his wound, but it refused to heal unless the gem is put back there. So it's uncurable. And he will be helping Kalki when he comes, and also he will become Ved Vyas in his next life. So these some background details to Ashwatthama. It's is Krishna's pastimes on earth, and he's using his devotees and to show his pastimes and teach us some lessons as well. So thank you so much, and love to hear from yourselves. Hare Krishna. Pundikaks Prabhu, what do you think?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, dear devotee. Krishna knows very well what is going to happen, and Arjuna is sincerely following his instructions. We can see compassionate nature of Mother Draupadi, and at the same time, Dharmaraj he has seen um, more enemies than anyone in this whole world, I think, in being so pious from the childhood. But he also said, okay, I'm agreeing with Mother Draupadi that the Brahmana's son and our teacher's son should not be killed. But at the same time, um, more than compassion, more than any rules, and the law is law. If a person is abominable, then he should be punished. And Krishna gave Krishna put Arjuna in dilemma, but again he gave him a nice instruction that how a person can be killed but actually not killed. So I was remembering something from Shubhlas Prabhu's class earlier. Um, he said like for a Kshatriya, insult is more than anything. Insult is like killing only, and self-praise is like a suicide. Like if you praise yourself so much that it is like a suicide only. So, but now once like Yudhishthira Maharaj was defeated by Duryodhan in the battle. I mean, almost defeated. And then when he came home, he asked Arjuna, Arjuna, did go kill Duryodhan and come back? But at the end of the day, Yudhishthira Maharaj asked, did you kill him? And Arjuna said, no, I did not kill him. Then he said, what is the use of your Gandiva? You say so many things, but even you cannot defeat Duryodhan. And so he insulted him. And um, Arjuna get more angry. And that time also Krishna gave him a solution that if you get angry, I mean, he took a sword to kill his own brother, Yudhishthira Maharaj. And then Krishna told him, no, don't kill him. You can insult him. That is equal to killing him. And after doing that, Arjuna again took the sword. Now Krishna asked, now what happened? He said, I want to kill myself now because I don't want to give bad words to my brother. He's like my God only. So he said, no, don't worry. This time you do your self-praise. Then it is equal to killing yourself. So that was a nice lesson from Shubhlas Prabhu that killing is, I mean, self-praise is so harmful. That is, that's all Prabhuji. And I could not understand, like, now, for example, like in the last few verses, we are hearing from Draupadi Mata is compassionate, and the main reason for her not to kill Ashwadhama is to not to separate his son, Ashwadhama from her mother. But actually, the end result is same. Like when Krishna cursed him, and at the end, that you will become like a diseased person. You will be roaming around the world for so many years. But that is what happened. He left the house anyhow at that time, and mother was left alone only. So that was an open question for me, Prabhuji. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Very nice. Yeah, yeah. I was thinking that like his mother does not. He's not there to take care of his mother, and she does not see him. And how can she see him in that state anyway? With the
Mm.
wound on his head. So yeah, she just has the satisfaction that he's alive. That's all. I guess so. So she's not motherless. She's still she still has a child somewhere, and it's the way it is. It's like say husband and wife, they're separated, they're not divorced. The wife still knows that she has a husband, but she's not a widow like that. So yeah, as long as they're alive, it just gives you hope. At least you have some hope. Thank
Mm.
you. Kiran Prabhu, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, everybody. Oh, so much in a few verses. Where to begin? The principles of religion which are embedded in our Shastras are immense. And these give us guidance for our lives. And in the old traditional days, these were the way people determined their day-to-day lives. But we moved away to the gods of Maya, and they determine the size of our house, the size of our car, etc. But the principles of religion were held firm, and Draupadi knows clearly the relationship between a mother and a child. That bonding is not one that occurs after birth, but it happens in the womb. That umbilical cord is there throughout the 9 months, and whatever happens in that time in terms of the imparting of morality, ethics, and values occurs in the womb, as we've heard from the other great little personalities that we come across. So this is a conundrum: who is right and who is wrong? And this is the nature of this fantastic Vedas we have. It puts it before us and asks us also to be jury and judge. We are very dismissive of other people because we become judgmental. But when it comes to our own vices, we want a jury. And hence we pontificate. But here's a situation where to do what? There are two truths at play here. The crime of this person was the most heinous crime ever possible. And Arjuna and the brothers went wrong. They wanted to remove the head of the miscreant. Draupadi was compassionate and caring. She was glorious. She was merciful. She was without duality. And she was very lucid. She was also, women have emotions, but they also have that higher level of intelligence, which enable them to think much more clearly in the red mist, the heat of the moment. He said, think, let's see what, yeah. And Krishna is being Krishna, playing the flute, watching over his flock to see that if they make the right decision. Neither are wrong. We will face dualities. We will face these conundrums time and time again. What to do with a family member who says something and you totally disagree with? Do you disarm them with your sharpness of the tongue? The sword is mightier. Sorry, the tongue is mightier than the sword sometimes. But this teaches us, look, maintain your equipoise. Be clear. Be minded. Hear both sides of the argument. Neither one or the other is wrong. To kill or not to kill is the question. Conflicting truths. The middle ground was found. Sometimes that's the only way. It is a win-win situation. I'm okay, you're okay, we're all okay. Nobody loses, nobody wins. We live to fight another day. But the removal of the jewel from the forehead was the final insult. It was death by many cuts. That death of humiliation is far worse than the removal of your life, the curtailing of the life. That humiliation has to be lived with day in, day out, 24/7, 365 days, decade after decade. And for Ashwatthama, it continues today. He's a Mahajan. He's around today, and he still carries the scars of that humiliation. The Pandavas continued forward. They completed the cremation ceremony, and life goes on. Death by 1,000 cuts, or the will of the divine. And I can see in India things happen, such as the Gundas are dealt with in UP in a very clinical way. Sometimes they are disarmed because they struggle to walk for a while. And if they've committed the most heinous rapes or whatever, then there is a form of local justice. It's not an easy one to deal with, but these are things which we will have to deal with time and time again. Who's right, who's wrong. But Draupadi exercised the greatest compassion and mercy, which only a woman can. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much, Prabhu. Yeah, I mean, end of the day, Ashwatthama's, his background saved him, well, from physical death, but he's still got, I don't know who actually saved him. He's actually probably worked against him. That's Krishna's plan. It's worked against him because he would have been just better off just killed, in a one-off. Now he's mentally and physically suffering for thousands of years. So yeah, I think given the choice, he would have probably preferred to have just had his head chopped off and get over it. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. And Praveen Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dhanva Pranam. It's very nice lessons, but we see, lack of all these values now. There are no moral values. The children, like when we were at school, we respected our teachers, but you don't see that anymore. So the children, they're not learning the values. And the other point was about humiliation, how it is worse than death. And now people, it doesn't matter how badly they're humiliated, they still walk with the head high up in the society because they don't have these, the differences between respect and humiliation. So it is a pity. Again, it comes to be away from God, not taking shelter of the God, the missing the values of life. And I think the first was started with the principles of religion. So we can only have these values if we take shelter of the Lord and the scriptures. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, when we don't know difference, we don't understand. So yeah, that's what scriptures are there to guide us. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Pranams to all of you. Yes, here we learn that if we are a pure devotee of Lord, then Krishna gives us the solutions from within as super soul. And these pastimes are mind-boggling at times, they're going one way and then suddenly we hear that he has been given a second chance, or maybe a big lesson for the Kali Yuga people, that better to have your bad karma finished for once and for all, then so that you can start from a new slate. But it is not the case. In Krishna's house, justice is done in many ways. It's not just clear black and white. So there's so many shades of gray there. And to know that Ashwatthama will be actually doing the atonement when he comes back as Vedvyas. So he'll be glorifying Lord. So this shows that all of us have a chance in this world. Even the worst of the worst in this world has a chance in grand scheme of things of Krishna. So yes, with this hope we march on in our bhakti, and we pray to Krishna that please spare us from all these humiliations or the cheap tricks of mind, that we don't fall into such situations, we don't fall prey into any of such illusions, and we keep looking at our goal, which is Krishna Prem. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Thank you all. And as in the message wrote earlier, in the evening of Wednesday, so no program Wednesday morning. Evening, we go Haridas Prabhu from Coventry. He's a fantastic speaker and really, really good, and look forward to hearing from him. So please do join on Wednesday, 8 p.m. till 9 p.m. and we'll get an overview on this chapter, and then we'll go on to chapter 8, and it's going to be really exciting because we're going to talk about Kunti Mata's prayers, most famous prayers, and then we're going to talk about Bhisham Pitama in the other chapters. Really, we don't need Canto 1, and there's so much, and it's really exciting and so much to learn. Thank you all so much. Thank you to Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaura Premanand, Hari Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna, Hare Bol.